What's going on, everyone? Happy holidays. Welcome back to the Second City Sports Talk. I'm Keaton here with the Papa Bear.
Hello.
And we're obviously, as you guys could tell, excited for the holidays. But
Yeah.
we're also extremely excited about how the Bears played against the Vikings last week. That was it.
Yeah, I hope you saw our first post-game reaction show last week. It was really fun to do. I mean, it was quite a game. We just can't stop talking about it, essentially. So let me hear what you think, Kid Genius. You go ahead and tell us what you think about that.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was a very good game all around. It was overall one of our better wins of the season. Trubisky, he was pretty good, but the main story of that game was obviously David Montgomery.
Oh.
He was 32 for 146 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, it felt like the Bears' game plan, it revolved completely around David Montgomery, and it destroyed the Vikings.
Yeah, like the Vikings were always handing it off or throwing it over to Cook, and it was basically the same for the Bears. It was like the old style Bears a little bit, running, smash mouth, bear down, Chicago
old
Bears
style,
kinda.
except for we were actually scoring points.
Yeah,
so
I mean, like that's the second game in a row of 30-plus points.
Third game
in a row of 30-plus.
Third in a row.
Oh, man.
The Lions game, we scored 30.
We don't want to remember that one. So.
Whatever. But anyway, yeah, that game, obviously a very good game.
Yeah, put us to 7-7. Kept us in
7
the
and 7
playoff
kept
race.
us in the playoff race.
Hey.
All the important stuff. We got the job done at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Obviously, there were some struggles on defense, and Trubisky, he was pretty good. Could have been slightly better, but he was efficient enough.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take Trubisky.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's shown us that he can possibly get us into the playoffs. He's, maybe he'll still be with us next year. I mean, a few weeks ago, I would have said, no way. Who knows?
I've been seeing a lot of articles talking about why the Bears would actually keep Mitchell Trubisky in this situation and try to get rid of Foles instead and pick up. So I saw an article. This actually
maybe we'll
really
get
interesting.
Wentz. We'll get Wentz. Maybe he won't be on the.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I'd love to get Stafford.
Okay.
Stafford,
right.
but
Heard it here first.
But yeah, I've actually seen some articles about the Bears maybe picking up a QB in the draft and having Trubisky kind of coach that QB and bring him into the league kind of.
Hey,
but there's so
works.
many different ideas right now as to what the Bears should do in the offseason. There's just everyone has their own ideas. Some people think Trubisky should be gone. Some people think that he should stay. It's just
it's crazy. What do we want to talk about today? I mean, usually we go right into the keys, but I think you want to talk about some other things first.
Yeah, I think right now there's just a lot of storylines around this Bears team.
Yeah.
First of all, we're back in the playoff picture.
Yeah.
And I think that game proved that Montgomery is definitely something that we should build around in the future. Yeah. He looked like one of the better running backs in the league in that game.
Certainly.
And also, let's talk about the MVP of the Bears season, Cairo Santos. With 22 field goals in a row.
I mean, it's like a 93%. He's only missed 2 this whole year.
Yeah,
so that's great. I mean, what? Wow, how refreshing. It's like the old Robbie Gould days, even better, though. I feel like he's even better almost.
Yeah, it's actually so amazing.
Should have been a Pro Bowler, but, we'll talk about some of that later, I think. But,
we're going to talk about some of the Pro Bowl snubs.
Yeah.
And then finally, I think coming into this game, the Bears have to be really careful. This is definitely a trap game. The Bears need to be really careful here, especially with all the noise right now around the Bears team. They're watching so many different games to try to figure out how they're going to fit into the playoffs. Yeah. They need to focus on this game, and they need to realize that they can't control what else is going on around them.
Of course.
So yeah.
But hey, when you're facing a 1-13 team, you got to feel confident about that. But like Keaton's saying, you can't go in there and just assume you're going to win. That's the whole trap behind it. I don't think it's a trap game. I think the Bears have had enough adversity this year to know that they cannot go into that game laying down anything. They got to put it all on the line. They got to play. Their defense has to just kick butt this game. There's no pretending that the Jags don't know what they're doing. Yeah. They're an NFL caliber team, even though they're bad. And I think we've got to be careful. So I don't think they're gonna let this one slide.
And let's actually talk a little bit about the Jaguars. Yeah. Obviously, this is a complete rebuild season for the Jaguars. Yeah. They got rid of all their players. Everyone expected coming into the season that the Jaguars might be the worst team of all time. They won their first game, and they've lost 13 straight after that.
Yeah.
But here's something that I think is a little bit interesting. Because the Jets won last week, and now the Jaguars hold that number 1 spot. Yeah. So if I'm a Jaguars fan, I want the Jaguars to keep on losing so that they can tank for Trevor Lawrence. So the Jags, they kind of want to lose this game. It would almost be a letdown if they won.
I don't know if the Jags themselves want to lose the game, but the fans
no team ever wants to lose the game. Sure, I mean, I know there was some Jets players who were speaking out about fans upset about the fact they lost the game, and they're saying, "Hey, you're not a real fan.
Yeah.
If you wanted us to lose."
No, you mean the Jets won a game. You mean, right? So the Jets actually won last week.
No, that's what I was saying. Like fans were upset that they won.
That they won the game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're like
I think if you're a Jaguars fan, you want them to lose this game.
Yeah. Again, I think it's tricky because you don't want to go in there thinking, oh, maybe they'll just tank it. I mean, they're going to play. They're going to try their best. They're going to play.
They're going to try their best.
And hey, we got to get a good lead on them right out of the gates, and just go on. Did you have some more to talk about the Jags?
Yeah.
I don't know much about the Jaguars, to be honest.
I mean, there isn't really much to talk about the Jaguars, but they're definitely them and the Jets. I mean, they're just competing to be the worst team.
Do you know who their star
Jaguars?
Player? Do they have a star player on the Jaguars? Who's their star player? Do we even know?
I mean, DJ Chark, he's a breakout player, good wide receiver.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, Gardner Minshew, he's been okay.
I guess,
but. Yeah, they're 23rd in offense, and they have the worst defense in the league.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's take advantage of that, you know? So speaking of, what are we going on to keys in the games? Or, we're talking about the keys. How are we going to win this? How are we going to go in there and keep our we're going to get above 500 with this game, right? That's the whole point.
Oh, yeah.
Be 8-7 after this. Really important. We cannot lose this game. No. We can and still make the playoffs, but we don't want that to happen.
No, we can, but if we lose this game, there's almost no chance that we get into the playoffs. But
let's go over the keys. What do you got?
Some of the keys. The Bears offense. The keys this week for me are very kind of vague. The Bears offense needs to continue to play well. I think that means they need to continue on all cylinders, running game, passing game, offensive line. They need to continue because we're playing against the worst defense, and we're just going to need to put up a show against the Jaguars. I think we need to prove to the league and give our offense some confidence going in against the Packers. Yeah. My second key, the defense, especially the secondary, which they've looked really shaky recently.
Yeah. Did we get this? I think there's still Johnson's still questionable right now, and Buster Screen, he's still
I think Buster Screen is back.
Okay, last time I saw the injury report, it's only Wednesday, so it's a little early, but they're still a little bit questionable. We'll see. Let's hope they're back. It'll help. Yeah,
but my big thing is that this needs to be a big confidence booster for them, because the defense, which has been our specialty for the last 3 years, they have not looked great recently.
Yeah.
So against the Jaguars, they really need to show up. Yeah. And my final key, and this is kind of bringing us into that Pro Bowl snubs area. I want A-Rob to go off this game. I want him to put up 200, 300 yards to show why he should have been a Pro Bowler. I think he should have definitely been a Pro Bowl. I mean,
it's crazy because I remember watching the Vikings game going, man, Mitch and him looked great in the beginning of the game. And then all of a sudden it was like 2 quarters of nothing Robinson.
He still put up 83 yards. That's the thing about Robinson.
Good. Yeah. And you're like, where is he? All of a sudden, out of the blue, he gets this great pass. And so I think if they can keep that and keep the running game going, but then sneak Robinson down, get him. He's so good at getting separation. He has great hands. Mitch, we're going to be doing safe passes again. That's the offensive coordinator is going for safe stuff with Mitch right now.
And I think
you probably should. You might as well still keep that up. If they get a chance to do some fun, exciting plays, some down the field stuff, do it. But only when you got a big enough lead to make that,
Yeah, I'd love to see the Bears start experimenting with stuff if they can get a big lead on the Jaguars.
Keep the fundamentals, keep those top of mind first.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, and Robinson wasn't the only Pro Bowl snub.
No, definitely not. We got Cordell Patterson and Clem Mack. So
that's it though.
Those make sense. Those make sense. But I really think Roquan Smith should have been in there. And if you look at the lines, his stats, I mean, he's definitely better than the other 2 Pro Bowlers. I don't even know their names, to be honest. What was one of them was
I can't think of them off the top of my head.
Warner or something like that.
Fred Warner was definitely one of them. I honestly, I think Roquan just has the much better stat line, has had a much better season than the other 2 guys.
Yeah, and he's made a big impact. The first couple of games, I remember we were kind of a little bit down. I mean, it looked like he wasn't. It wasn't just
Roquan. It was Trevathan and Roquan.
Yeah,
the linebackers just didn't look up to par as they have looked in the past. But they've come out. They've really come out in the last 10 games and looked a lot better.
I mean, Robinson was obviously, to me, another snub, but, there's a lot of good wide receivers. They don't have a lot to choose. They don't have a lot of positions.
Yeah,
to
they
go
should
with.
expand the amount of wide receivers that they allow for Pro Bowlers, because right now it's only 4.
Yeah.
And I mean, come on, you need at least 5 or 6 wide receivers with the amount of wide receivers that are really good in this league.
I think there's a case definitely for Santos as well, and as well for Hicks. He got injured; he's out for a few games. But man, he is such a force. And you seeing him last week, man, he's a beast.
Yeah, Hicks. I think he got kind of shut out of the Pro Bowl conversation once he got injured.
Yeah, that probably had something to do
and
with it.
He's been a Pro Bowler in the past, so it's not as big of a deal.
Yeah,
Unlike Robinson, Robinson has been a Pro Bowler, but not recently. And Roquan, it would be I think his first time.
I'm just glad that we got a couple. You kind of figured Mac would, although Mac was kind of quiet for part of the season. So he's starting to come back.
When Khalil Mack is quiet, he still gets 8 sacks and a bunch of interceptions and forced fumbles. So, I mean, you can't really. Yeah. He's only quiet because he's Khalil Mack.
Yeah. So those are the keys. I mean, just to add, and nothing new. I'm not adding any other keys other than to say, let's get that running game going. I loved watching that last week, even though some fans were like, pass it. I loved watching kind of that smash mouth.
There's no. I can't name a single Jaguars defensive player right now, which I think just shows that they are awful on defense.
Yeah.
Almost every other defense in the league, no matter how bad they are, I can name one defensive player.
Yeah.
I can't name any players on the Jaguars on defense.
What's your prediction for the game? Bears, Jaguars. What's your prediction?
I mean, I'm hoping that we blow them out. So I'm just going to say Bears win 31-14.
31-14. I like that score. That's probably where I would see it going to. I'd like to see that 30-point thing. I'm not even sure the Jaguars are going to get 14. If the defense shows up, they're not even going to get 14. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's move on.
You have a prediction for the game?
I feel like the Bears are going to win. That's me. I usually don't give scores. I think we win by 17. That I'm going with I think we're winning by a couple touchdowns and a field goal in this game. Yeah. And I think Santos is going to extend his streak. Mm-hmm. So go Carlos, go Carlos Santos. Yeah, you got this.
So anyway, there's one more thing I want to talk about before we get into the predictions.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound absolutely crazy to most Bears fans, but hear me out. We should be cheering for the Packers.
No.
Stop. We should definitely be cheering for the Packers this week.
Yeah.
If the Packers win this week, they clinch the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Okay.
They clinch number 1 seed, and that means that they won't have a reason to play their starters against us. So cheer for the Packers this week. As crazy as that sounds, we need to cheer for the Packers.
All right. I feel sad to say, but I agree with him. And, go Packers. Yeah, I just can't even bring myself.
There's like a
hard to say it.
When you say that, it's like a disgusting taste in your throat.
It hurts to say it. I don't know what I'm going to do about that later. But all right, so it's just little bits to help us get into the playoffs, a little bit more, to help us get in there. We'll see how it goes. So all right, so that was the Packers. Let's do your NFL predictions. This is Kid Genius right here. He is 11-4 since we started doing our predictions. He was 2-1 last week. So let's see how you do this week. So I've picked 3. Pretty exciting games, I think. Let's start with the first one. It's on Christmas, this Friday.
Tomorrow.
Christmas. Yeah.
Oh, wait, 2 days.
2 days. I'm an idiot. 2 more. It's a 4:30 game. Vikings at the Saints. All right. So you got
Vikings,
the 6-8 Vikings
Saints.
And the 10-4 Saints. What are we thinking?
This isn't a question for me. The Saints are going to win.
Saints. Okay. I agree with you.
I think it's going to be surprisingly close because it always is when the Saints play the Vikings. Honestly, in the past, 4 years, it's become a big storyline, Saints-Vikings.
Yeah.
Starting with the Minneapolis Miracle, and then last week the Saints got eliminated in the playoffs against the Vikings. Yeah. So it's really become a big storyline between these two teams. So I think it's going to be close. I think it's actually going to be 1 point difference.
1 point difference.
27-28.
27-28. All right. Got it.
Saints win.
Like it. Cool. All right, well, let's skip down to a Sunday afternoon game then. It's Rams 9-5 at the Seahawks 10-4. What do we think about that one? I think this is going to be a pretty good game, to be honest.
I think this is definitely the game of the week. If you're the Rams, you're coming into this game with a hunger. You just got embarrassed by the worst team in the league last week.
That's why I picked
You want to beat the Seahawks. Like this is probably whoever wins this game is going to win the division.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I think they're both 9-5, right?
Well, 9-5, 10-4. Seahawks are
9-5,
10-4.
10. Yeah. So whoever wins this game will probably win the division because they'll hold the tiebreaker over the other team. So this is going to be a highly competitive divisional match.
Who's going to win
This
it?
is tough because the Seahawks haven't been playing great recently, and the Rams obviously came off a really bad loss. I'm going to go Seahawks because
Seahawks. All right.
I like the Seahawks here. And I'm going to say 34-24.
34-24. All right. Cool. I agree with you on that one, actually. I think the Seahawks are going to win. Feel bad for the Rams a little bit, but oh well. Go Seahawks.
They're still going to make it into the playoffs.
They're still going to be in there. So, all right. And the final game, I think this is actually going to be a good game, too. It's the 10-4 Titans against the 11-3 Green Bay Packers. So, what do you think about that? It's a
Green Bay Packers.
Sunday night game.
This might actually be better than the Seahawks.
That's what I was thinking. This actually might be the game of the week.
Although,
we'll see.
Yeah.
They're both playoff bound, so it doesn't really matter, I guess.
But it matters for the Bears because we want the Packers to win.
Right.
But this is a tough one because I feel like Derrick Henry is going to have himself a field day out there against the Packers defense. Because the Packers defense, they play just good enough for them to win.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick the Packers simply for one reason, and that's because Aaron Rodgers is having an MVP season right now, and I think he's going to go. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be
shootout, right? Like 40-40 kind of shootout?
It's going to be 35-38.
35-38. 38 Packers. Yeah, 35. All right.
Close game. Maybe even overtime. Who knows?
All right. Well, the league rush leader in Derrick Henry, so, it's going to be an exciting game. I agree with you, though. I think the Packers are going to pull this one out, and we want them to. So let's go for that. Let's just go with that. All right. Well, that's our first Wednesday show. Thank you for joining us and continue to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, so you get notifications.
Yep. Make sure you leave comments down below giving us suggestions. We're always looking to improve.
Yep.
And I hope everyone has a great holiday weekend. And
stay safe.
Stay safe. We'll see you guys right before the new year.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna come. Our next show is gonna be a Sunday reaction game after the Bears game. So the post game reaction. So we'll see you then, and then we'll have some more shows after that. Some Wednesdays. So
all right, that's it.
All right, everybody.
Hope you guys enjoyed.
Thanks, Bear Nation. We'll talk to you later.
See ya.